Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Bronco Outdoors here, and today we have a little bit of a flashlight competition, flashlight test. So that's why we're in the dark. I'm heading out into the backyard, but I have quite a few flashlights with me. These are just some of the ones that I've accumulated over the past few years. So we're going to be putting them to the test to see just how good they are. This is my testing camp. We're underneath some pine trees with some string lights strung up just to light the scene a little better. I'm going to go ahead and set up camp and get these flashlights out so we can take a look at each of them. And then once it drops down a little bit darker, we're going to go ahead and put each one to the test. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the smallest light that I have and then step it up from there. This is the Kodiak Kip, an impressive light even at a more impressive price point, so I'll have all the links in the description if you are interested. This one is particularly cool because it actually double functions as a headlamp, so I can clip it onto my hat itself on a cap or anything like that, have it flip out in front of you, and you could flip it away when you don't want it. And then other than that, it's pretty simple instruction. Charging port on this side, power button on this side. There's a couple different light modes, so we're going to go ahead and test those out right now. So to test, we're going to go ahead and cut the string lights off. I have them on a smart plug, so there we go. That's better. All right, here we go. Going on the turbo setting in 3, 2, 1. So honestly, very good visibility. The Kip, pretty decently bright. So what's cool about the Kip is it also has some other light features. Aside from the bright main LED, you do have green and as well red. So you're able to light your scene pretty well with whatever light you need. And again, tiniest form factor. I mean, it doesn't get much smaller than that. So that's the review of the Kip. Let's go and get on to the next flashlight. Up next, this is the Nebo Torchy. This has been my EDC flashlight for about 2 years now. Very pleased with this flashlight. Small form factor, definitely something you could fit in your pocket. It's got a little pocket clip, pretty simple operation with the button, and just a main LED white. So let's go ahead and test it out. Turbo mode in 3, 2, 1. Another thing I love about the Torchy, again, just like the Kip, double functions as a headlamp with the pocket clip, so you can clip it onto your head and have a fully working headlamp all in your pocket. Overall, really like this flashlight, and I'll probably continue carrying it. Let's get on to the next one. Up next is another headlamp. This is another headlamp from Nebo, actually. This is the Nebo Transcend 1500. Overall, my daily driver as a headlamp. Anything that I need to do work-wise, outdoors, or indoors, this is my go-to. And just to give you full effect, I'm going to leave the hat off for now, just because the hat tends to block some of the light. So you can see here, sits comfortably on the forehead with the band. I haven't had any issues wearing this light for extended periods of time. So that being said, let's go ahead and give it a test. 3, 2, 1. Definitely stepping up in brightness now. See way more. So the Nebo Transcend does have a high, medium, and low option. And then of course if you hold down, you get your turbo, which is definitely bright. Doesn't last for too long on that setting before it dials down. Really good flashlight. It does come out of the carriage for the headband, so you can use it just as a regular flashlight if you need. It's a pretty good one at that. You do have a magnetic base, so you can stick it to something. I'll show you. So if you have like a metal base, you need to stick it to, it sticks. And you can of course use the flashlight while it's attached. So if I were to stab this in this tree, set this up, I have a pretty decent work light that I can make use of. Let's get going. Up next, we have this pretty generic, won't spend too much time on this one. This is a generic Cobalt flashlight you can find at any Lowe's. It runs on AAA. This is pretty good. It's just like a house flashlight indoors. You do have the zoomable lens, which I'll show you what that does. But that's a pretty basic, well built. Can't really go wrong with one of these. Of course, it's not the brightest out of the bunch, but let's take a look. 2, 1. Definitely has a good spot. That's thanks to that lens in the front. Lights up a good area. But I wouldn't say it's the brightest, but here, take a look at that zoom lens and what that does. So you can actually zoom the light out there to have a brighter focused beam. One thing I will say, it does have the quintessential Castaway-esque button on the back, which is actually my favorite placement for a flashlight button. I think it's the most intuitive, it just makes the most sense. It's not bad, definitely recommend, and you can get them pretty cheap, normally in like a pack of 4. Up next, we have another Nebo flashlight. This is actually another Torchy. This is the Torchy 2K, so it's supposed to be the slightly brighter version. It's also slightly bigger footprint wise. It does seem like it has the same clip if you wanted to use it as a headlamp. Yep, that works totally fine. So let's go ahead and give this one a shot. Ah, there's turbo. Okay, now that is more like, that is considerably brighter. Alright, well, overall pretty happy with this flashlight. I think it definitely has the best beam in terms of focused to wide light. Lights up your area pretty well. It's definitely really bright. One thing I'm not too sure on is the modes. A lot of the Nebo flashlights, you have to kind of cycle through some modes to get to your brightest. So you have to do a single click. That brings you to your high. And then you need to hold to bring you to your turbo mode, which is very impressive, I will say. So, and then you have to cycle back out to turn it off. That's the downside, but overall, really good flashlight. Really happy with it. Let's see what else we got. Stepping it up now. Now we're getting into the bigger lights. So this is a Swisstech flashlight. Got it from Walmart actually on clearance, so very good price. This one has exceptional build quality. Fully metal everywhere. It does also have a focusing beam like the Cobalt one did, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Overall, a really good flashlight. Got some good heft if we needed to hit something, so always points for that. Let's check it out. Nice, very wide beam. Wide. Go ahead and focus this beam now. You can focus it down pretty well. Get yourself more focused light. So, as you can see, very, very nice wide beam. I would say this is probably one of the best beams I've seen out of these flashlights to light up the entire area. The focus leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not too bright, but overall, really great flashlight. Taking a look at the modes here, low, medium, high. Look at that. I mean, that's lighting everything behind me. So, I definitely like the wide beam of this flashlight and the overall look and feel. Not an EDC flashlight, but definitely a good camping flashlight. And last on the list for today is my Craftsman V20 torch. This is definitely not an everyday carry flashlight, but has been my go-to for anything in extremely dark conditions. So it's got very bright LEDs on the front, and I do like the ability of hot swappable batteries. You can have them pre-charged. It's all part of the V20 system, so it makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and test it out. 3, 2, 1. And that's why this is an incredible flashlight. I mean, it is very focused, good wideness as well if needed. You can pretty much light up anything you need. There's also very good range on this beam. You can actually reach out to those far out trees back there too, so very good. So as you can see, very impressive brightness on this flashlight. It's not the most handy thing, but it's got the power there when you need it. One thing you will notice is the beam wasn't quite as wide at close ranges. That's because this one's definitely tailored towards a longer range. And you can actually see that when I point this light out there. You can see way further out into the woods than with some other flashlights, because this beam reaches way further back overall, and it's actually kind of scary when you see some glowing eyes looking back at you. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in these kinds of videos, go ahead and drop a comment down below, something else you want to see me review. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. You've been watching Bronco Outdoors. Thanks, and bye-bye.